Live from the CBS Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, this is CBS2 News at 5 p.m.
I protected myself because this is a White House where everybody lies.
She is the former Apprentice contestant who made it all the way to the White House.
And now the White House is hammering Omarosa Manigault Newman hard over her new book and her words about the president.
More bad blood surrounding the Trump administration as aides target the woman who used to be one of the highest-ranking African Americans at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Well, today Omarosa Manigault Newman unveiled more behind-the-scenes recordings, this time of the president himself. CBS2 political reporter Dave Ryan is here with what was revealed and what could be coming next.
Well, she says she has a lot of recordings with a lot of folks at the White House, and they've been talking most recently, the ones about her being fired. So we'll see what else comes out. Just like a reality TV show, there's drama, secret recordings, and trash talking. Omarosa Manigault Newman's book fired the first shot by calling the president a racist and a misogynist. And now practically all of the president's men and women have her in their sights.
I have never heard the President of the United States use a racial slur about anyone.
Donald Trump made her. I mean, what kind of ingratitude is this?
Low life. She's a low life.
With the help of members of his administration and his attorney, and back from a working vacation and already on the attack, President Trump's target this time, former Apprentice contestant and ex-White House advisor, Omarosa Manigault Newman, as a war of words between them continues to escalate.
There's a lot of very corrupt things that are happening in the White House.
She's currently on a whirlwind TV tour to promote her new book, Unhinged. Today, she released a new audio conversation between her and President Trump.
Omarosa, what's going on? I just saw on the news that you're thinking about leaving. What happened?
General Kelly came to me and said that you guys wanted me to leave.
No, nobody even told me about it. Nobody.
Wow.
You know, they run a big operation, but I didn't know it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
God damn it. I don't love you leaving at all.
Who's running this country? When Donald Trump says that they run a big operation, who is the they? Is General Kelly puppeting Donald Trump?
Okay.
Is he truly running this country?
Speaking of Chief of Staff John Kelly, here's a secret recording Omarosa also revealed the conversation when he fired her last year.
Is the president aware of what's going on?
Let's not go down the road. This is a non-negotiable discussion. This has to do with some pretty serious integrity violations.
Yeah, I heard a little of that tape. Sounds perfectly natural in a situation like where most of the things about her never came to him. They don't walk in and say to the president, I'm not just saying you know, so-and-so leaked something or so-and-so is fighting with this one on the White House. If he did that, the president couldn't do his job.
And this may be just the beginning. As we indicated before, Omarosa says she has a lot more secret tapes. According to the website Politico, some are private phone calls between her, first daughter Ivanka Trump, and her husband, senior White House aide Jared Kushner. So far, neither the former reality star nor the White House has commented on that. So, like I said, look out. This has really turned into a true war of words.
So this could go on and
Oh,
on
this
and
may
on.
be just the beginning.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
Absolutely.
Well, Joseph DeAngelo, the alleged Golden State Killer, has just been charged in the murder of a Visalia man. Claude Snelling was killed during a break-in back in 1975. In September of that year, the victim's daughter says a masked gunman broke into her bedroom in the middle of the night, threatened her, and then dragged her out to their carport. Snelling's daughter says her father then gave his life to save hers, and the suspect fled. The suspect was dubbed the Visalia Ransacker. While DeAngelo is not directly linked to Snelling's murder by DNA, Police Chief Jason Salazar says he can prove Joseph DeAngelo is also the Visalia Ransacker.
We are confident, through the information obtained from victims and witnesses, through thorough examination of specific modus operandi in these cases, through the development of physical evidence, and by linking a firearm stolen from the ransacker burglary that was used in the Claude Snelling murder, that Joseph DeAngelo is the man responsible for these crimes.
Claude Snelling is now officially the 13th victim the Golden State Killer is accused of killing.
Right now, we're learning more today about the pilot who crashed his plane in the San Fernando Valley and why he is being tonight called hero.
Well, that pilot was a local man. Tragically, he did not survive, but he did save lives.
Yeah, the single-engine Beechcraft he was piloting went down in a field along Encinitas Avenue in Sylmar, near the 5 and 40 freeways.
And that's where CBS 2's Joy Benedict joins us live now with more on the pilot and the investigation. Joy?
Yeah, guys, this couldn't have been an easy field to hit. It's surrounded by the freeway and a whole bunch of homes, so it wasn't easy to try and make an emergency landing here, but that's exactly what we are being told this pilot attempted to do. You can see that they are trying right now to get the plane out of this field where it is and has been since yesterday afternoon when it crashed, although the NTSB has been out here trying to figure out if there was anything wrong with the plane. The Los Angeles Police Department says it was just a very sad accident and one that cost one man his life. A smart, funny man with a love of adventure. That is how Scott Watson is being remembered today. The 55-year-old pilot made an emergency landing on this Sylmar field Sunday afternoon. He did not survive. As investigators combed through the wreckage, those who knew him combed through memories, posting their love and pictures on social media. His family asked for privacy, but his daughter shared this photo of her recent graduation from Yale. She says her dad was the smartest man she knew. In addition to being a father and new grandfather, Watson's imagination touched many Disney fans. He was an Imagineer. Disney released a statement saying, "The Walt Disney Company is stunned and saddened by the loss of our longtime friend and colleague." Family members say he was proud of his work designing rides for the beloved theme park. From Indiana Jones to Cars Land, his legacy inspires future thrill seekers, and Disney will miss him. Their statement continued. Those of us who worked with Scott during his nearly 30-year career at Disney knew him as a humble genius who made making magic look easy. And neighbors here in this Sylmar community say they know this landing wasn't easy either. A small field surrounded by a busy freeway and homes. They are thankful for his piloting skills. They only wish it didn't cost him his life.
I was scared, like, oh my God, it's nice. It wasn't here, like near us, or it didn't explode. This is so sad.
Certainly is very sad. Now, Watson's daughter tells me that he was an experienced pilot who'd been flying for more than 15 years. She says he was likely heading to Whiteman Airport, just a few miles away where he kept his plane. She said he was flying back from Northern California, where he spent the weekend. Reporting live from Sylmar, Joy Benedict, CBS2 News.
Smoke and flames inside the parking garage at Disneyland after a car caught fire. There was chaos last night as hundreds of guests waited to get into the Mickey and Friends parking structure. Not clear how the fire began, but Disney firefighters handled the situation. No one was injured.
FBI agent caught texting his criticism about President Trump while investigating him for Special Counsel Robert Mueller has been fired. Peter Strzok was kicked off Mueller's team a year ago after the text messages then surfaced. The president has repeatedly criticized him and the Bureau on Twitter. You might recall last month's fire exchange between Strzok and several congressional Republicans during this hearing.
Trump's not ever going to become president, right? Right? And you replied, no. No, he's not. We'll stop it.
That text was written late at night in shorthand.
I don't care when it was written.
Strzok's attorney says his client's firing was due to political pressure. The Bureau has not commented on the firing.
10 days and 27 witnesses into the Paul Manafort fraud trial. The prosecution has rested its case. Their last witness was a VP at Federal Savings Bank who testified he was pressured by the bank's chair to give Manafort $16 million in loans and lied on financial forms. Manafort's attorneys immediately asked the judge to get all 18 tax and banking fraud charges thrown out and acquit their client. And coverage of today's political news continues right here at 6:30 on the CBS Evening News with Jeff Glor.
Well, it is that time of year. Book bags are packed, schedules are set, and summer is over. While some students are already back in class, those students at LA Unified School District are all set to begin on tomorrow.
But first, those students will all get a special call. CBS2 Sports Director Jim Hill is out at Dodger Stadium with more on the special way LAUSD is getting its students motivated for the upcoming school year. Jim?
Pat, thank you very much. It's really amazing, and it's one of the things, the obligations that our sports people have here, and our youngsters are really taking account of that. And when you think about it, LA Unified is really encouraging and has enlisted the help of several of our sports stars here in the Los Angeles area to give encouragement and even a lot of advice to our young people as school begins tomorrow. And everyone's getting a call tonight. Los Angeles Unified students are starting school tomorrow. But the district has something very special in store for them tonight.
Good evening, Los Angeles Unified families. This is Manny Machado.
This is Luke Robitaille.
This is Allison Felix.
This is Kyle Kuzma from the Los Angeles Lakers.
At some point this evening, every single LAUSD student will receive a recorded phone call from one of several Southern California sports stars. Their message? Wishing them the very best in the upcoming school year and the importance of education.
Kids, education is the key to a better life. Therefore, I need you to do 4 things for me. Go to school every day, listen to your teachers, work hard, and make good choices.
And thanks to LAUSD and the Los Angeles Rams, CBS2 got behind the scenes with Crenshaw High junior football player Joshua Willard for his call with Rams defensive tackle Michael Brockers.
Oh, they FaceTime me. Hello?
What's good, bro? How you doing, Josh?
Good, and you?
Man, good, man. I've heard nothing but good things about you, bro. I was just hitting you up, man, just saying, keep doing your thing, man. Go back to school, keep balling, bro. Hey, set an example. Somebody's watching you, you know what I'm saying? You never know who's watching you, bro. You setting a great example. Good luck to you and ball out this year, bro.
Yep, thank you.
All right, bro. Hey, I'll talk to you later, my man.
All right, yep, have a good one. It's pretty exciting for somebody that's in the NFL that made it, for them to call me and motivate me to go to school and do, like, yeah, it's just exciting.
They have to understand that, you know, school comes first. You know, NFL stands for not for long, and at some point in time it will end, and you need a backup plan.
All right, young folks, don't forget, go to class, work hard, make good choices, because these are big-time stars delivering a big-time message.
Thanks, Michael, for having this conversation with me. I hope you have a good season.
Pat and Jeff, everyone knows that our sports stars have a moral obligation to our young people, and they truly accept that, and they want to wish them all the very, very, very best. And, of course, coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll talk about the Dodgers taking on the San Francisco Giants. Back to you in the studio now.
How cool was that, Jim? Thank you. And, you know, you just never know how much one phone call can make a difference to a child.
Absolutely.
So.
Every little bit of motivation helps, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Doesn't matter where it comes from. Well, books, pencils, binders, shots.
Later, the big vaccination push as students head back to school. Plus this.
We'll show you those scary moments in Spain as a boardwalk gives way, sending 300 people crashing into an ocean. What caused it to give way?
Also, drivers and spectators putting their lives at risk. A dangerous street takeover is caught on camera.
And meet the NASA astronauts who will be the first to fly the SpaceX Crew Dragon. We'll take you behind the scenes.
Hey everyone, I'm Garth Kemp. Wow, look at that shot. Beautiful out by Santa Catalina. Tell you the forecast coming up.